Working on a Simplex steam locomotive, part 37. Removing the chimney and smoke box, disconnecting the internal parts, removing the snifting valve and boiler blowdown taps. After this, I lifted the boiler from the frames. I removed the petticoat pipe chimney mounting, and I show the cleaning of the live steam injectors. It's time to remove the boiler, starting with the chimney, followed by the petticoat pipe. Everything in the smoke box is very oily, which is a good sign. At least it means that the lubricator's working. During the steam test I didn't get the whistling noise, so we'll assume that the blast pipe is okay. It's very easy to fit and remove by using a socket with an extension down the chimney. And now that's out of the way, I can undo the steam union. I use a spanner to loosen it, and then I use my hand for the rest of the operation so you can't see anything. That's better now my hand's not in the way. The steam union is loose. The next job is to push the snifting valve back inside the smoke box. I cannot lift the boiler from the frames until I remove these two things. They are the blowdown valves. I'm only showing one side. Removal of the other side was an identical procedure. While I was unscrewing the valve, the main part of it came loose from the other part. This actually made it easy to remove, because now using a socket I can easily remove the rest of the fitting from the boiler bush. That's one blowdown valve removed. I thought you might like to have a look inside it. Very simple device. It's just an O-ring plug on a seat. This is a very good design for a blowdown valve. When they're the tapered plug into a hole type, they often leak. Now I can lift the boiler entirely off the frames in one go, being very careful not to trap my fingers. With the boiler out of the way, you can see how oily it is inside the smoke box. I will have to do something about this. I have a really good method for cleaning small steam engine parts and model aircraft engines. I'll show you this later on in the video. The time has come to secure the part that I made to the original petticoat pipe. As always with the things I make, it's a simple solution. Here are the parts. First of all, I cleaned both of the parts using some solvent. The solvent is gun wash, and it's for cleaning spray guns, and it's very good at removing grease and oil too. And this is some Loctite 603. I've applied some to the copper part of the assembly, and here is a gratuitous shot of the Loctite 603 curing. Would it be okay to use Loctite 603 on its own? Well, probably, because really to break the bond of Loctite 603 you have to heat the part to quite a high temperature. Generally speaking, I do like the belt and braces approach. Your trousers never fall down when you've got one of each. I've drilled a hole all the way through the brass part and into the copper part, but not all the way through the copper. I drilled one hole at each side, and then I threaded the holes using a 6BA tap. All I have to do now is fit a very small grub screw at each side, and with the help of the Loctite 603, this brass part of the petticoat pipe is going nowhere. Time to do a bit of parts cleaning. Here I am in my kitchen, and it's much warmer in here than it was in the workshop. In the kitchen I have a small dishwasher. Here it is. I only need a small dishwasher because at the moment I live here by myself. The benefits of living by yourself is you can get away with putting model engine parts in the dishwasher. This is nothing new for me, I've done it before, and with the help of a dishwasher tablet it's really good for cleaning model aeroplane engines and model steam engine parts. It's snowing outside and it's very cold, so I think I'll make a curry for my tea. Keeping my eye on the dishwasher, here there are 15 minutes left. 15 minutes later and the parts were on the table. Look how clean they are. I could even eat my curry out of these parts, but I'll resist the temptation to do that and use a bowl like everyone else. Over now to have a look in my small box of live steam injectors, and I've found a pair that will be fine for the job. The injectors that I'm going to use are a pair I took off my 7 1/4 inch gauge titch, as shortly before I sold it I changed the injectors. I dropped the injectors into a small pot of acid from my acid bath, and when I came back the next day I can't say they were too clean because it's very cold in the workshop. So I took the pot of acid into the house and tipped it into a pan, added a little bit more water, put the injectors in there and turned on the heat. The acid that I use for cleaning components is formic acid in the form of Kilrock K kettle descaler, and when you buy a bottle of this stuff it tells you to put it in the kettle and boil the kettle. When you buy a new bottle of Kilrock K it isn't green, and I won't be using this stuff in my kettle anytime soon. It's green because I've used it to clean up a lot of copper parts. This is one of the injectors just as I took it out of the pan, and now I can remove the cones. and this clip shows both of the injectors on the bench back in the workshop with the cones removed. Previously the cones were firmly stuck into the injectors because of the limescale from the water, owing to them having had quite a lot of use over the years. Now that they are internally clean again, this should be just as good as the day I fitted them. I thought it was a good idea to give them a cosmetic cleanup, and for the initial cleanup I used this type of wire brush. This is fitted into one of my Proxxon motor tools, which in turn is clamped into the bench holder. This is not the ideal type of wire brush for this job, but this type of wire brush doesn't shed its bristles quite as badly as the other type. However, you can clearly see it's not very good at getting into the corners, so there was nothing for it. I needed to change this for the normal type of wire brush. In fact, in this application, if I continue using this one, the steel shank is going to damage the softer brass of the injector. Now it's time to change to one of these type of wire brushes to get into the corners. And here is a top tip. The maximum revs per minute, or RPM, of these small motor tools is extremely high, and when using wire brushes of this type, I recommend running at a lower speed. The wire brush still does the job and you don't lose so many bristles. An important health and safety notice: you must wear eye protection. I'll repeat that, you must wear eye protection when doing jobs like this. When the wire bristles of the brush break, they fly off at a very high speed. In these images, I'm sat to the left hand side of the wire brush, the camera is at the right hand side. Always keep yourself out of the line of fire of the bristles. Quite a lot of viewers have asked me, why do injectors use this type of steam union, the flat type instead of the normal cone type union? If the steam inlet and the water inlet of the injector had coned unions like this, if you wanted to remove the injector you would have to bend the piping to release the coned union from its matching cone on the injector. This is easy enough to do on a small injector, but on a thing like the size of my 4.5 inch scale traction engine it gets more difficult, and on the full size it will be very difficult to bend the piping out of the way. If you don't have any of these flat unions, never fear, put a standard cone union in your chuck. These small steam unions are very thin walled, so do not over tighten the chuck, and don't face the end like I've just shown, because you will get a finish like this which is really not going to seal too well. You need to take very gentle cuts, and always do the cutting from right to left. All you do is move the tool until the taper disappears. This is the way I do it. High speed and low pressure on the brass with the cutting tool. In this clip I haven't gone right to the end of the tapered part, and that's fine, this will seal okay. Here's what I ended up with. A pair of injectors that were much cleaner than they were to start with, internally and externally. All I have to do now is refit the cones into the injectors. And both of the cones for each injector are machined to different sizes, so they will only fit one way round. That's yet another job out of the way for this 95% complete Simplex. There's a long way to go yet, but now I'm pleased to say that there's nowhere near as much work to do as when I first got it. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.